The #1 problem shared by RPG players and game masters is that they don't get to actually play the game. Scheduling, they say, is the final boss of Dungeons & Dragons. However, I know many of you watching are like me, devout, weekly gamers who have found our own ways to make it work. So while I walk through my game group's tried and true secrets to successfully scheduling a weekly RPG night for years on end, I humbly ask that you, devout weekly gamer, share your own successful methods and even reply to folks in the comments who ask for help. Because I'm Bob, this is where we learn how to have more fun playing RPGs together, and this literally feels like a great way to actually help each other have more fun with RPGs together. Scheduling secret #1, finding a game group. This is also purported to be a big problem in online TTRPG discussions, but it's time for some tough love. I just ran a poll about this, and according to these several thousand people, like 70% just play with their family and or friends. So yeah, I know you've done this, but I need those other people online to at least say they've tried asking, hey, you want to play a game of D&D with me? Don't make it a huge commitment. Just plan one game, like 2 hours of their time, and treat it like hosting any gathering. Those guests should be able to show up and enjoy themselves. Meaning you need to prep the adventure, prep the characters, have pencils, paper, and at least one set of dice ready to go. And sure, if any of the players are experienced and offer to make their own character, let them. Other than that, maybe just ask the guests to bring snacks or something. And of course, you can always play solo RPGs. That is cool and fun and came up a lot in the comments on that poll. But just one other person is all you need to have an RPG group if you want one. And then if you can't get any friends or family to play, that's when you try some coworkers or classmates, or just, ask them if they know anybody who might be interested in D&D. And if that also fails, that's when you can ask around a local game store, bookstore, a library. Some of those places will have ongoing game nights, but you can ask literally anywhere that nerds gather. Freaking GameStop sells RPG dice now. Oh, there's a plane. We got a plane. Might have missed it. And if all that fails, you can also try to find a group online using Roll20, using the Discord community of whatever RPG you're hoping to play, or finally, if you're willing to pay to play, sites like Start Playing just offer games, like any game you want. So minus that one platform's paywall, I just don't think there's a lot of excuses today for not being able to find a group. I mean, the one thing about asking around those public places is you might have to make concessions about where you're going to play. Thus, scheduling secret #2, finding a place where you can play. And really, there are two philosophies about finding a place to play, and I have experienced the scheduling merits of both. A, the traditional and more common practice is to choose a single location where your game will occur every time, and perhaps you designate a backup location. And I don't know about you, but I don't need a follow-up poll to tell me that the majority of these fine people playing with friends and family are definitely playing in basements and or kitchens and or dining rooms. But your spot can be that local game store, local library, a cafe, and it is the stability of that single location that can help maintain a gaming group. However, philosophy B, and remember, there's really no reason you can't do a bit of both, but this other RPG scheduling philosophy is to be the nomad. Playing RPGs wherever the wind takes you, untethered to any one basement or kitchen table. Now, I do mostly play at my own apartment, but with this attitude, I've managed to play a lot of different RPGs in a bunch of basements, a bunch of kitchens, gaming stores, and conventions. That includes hotel rooms, hotel lobbies, hotel meeting rooms where we definitely didn't reserve the space and we're probably supposed to, but it didn't matter because it was midnight at Gen Con. I have played RPGs on camping trips, usually on a cruddy picnic table, and even while hiking on a trail and just using a digital dice roller app. But whatever your preference, my experiences with both of these ideas has taught me that the table itself is the important gaming location. As long as you have a nice, smooth surface to roll your dice, scribble some points of damage, maybe set up a few minis. You can play anywhere, and it feels like home. So with that in mind, I'm happy to tell you about a portable, high-quality gaming table for home or on the go. Today's sponsor, Tabletop Table. Very direct name, I love it. Naturally, I decided to bring this table outside for a scenic solo RPG session, and it's perfect. Every table includes a travel bag for safe transport and storage. It took less than a minute to magnetically snap together its 3 parts. And while this American-made, sustainably sourced relic model is beautiful, the sleek Hexlite would have been much easier to bring on a hike. But for inside and out, their goals were to add play space, reduce clutter at the table, and not permanently fill a whole room, and to provide quality for less than a traditional RPG table. And they nailed it. Backing on Kickstarter saves you 10% or more on all items, including extra accessories and extenders, and you can check out all the details using the link tabletoptable.com/Bob. down in the description. Did we get it? I don't know if you can see that because I got the viewfinder the wrong way, but there was a plane. I didn't even hear it. All right, now you've got a game group, even if it's just that one friend of a coworker you met that one time, and you've got a game location, even if it's the quiet corner of a local library where you have to set up your own little high-quality table. Now, we get into the ever so slightly controversial secret to scheduling RPGs. Number 3, the game's time is more important than the players, which of course I've chosen to state in the most pointed way, but what I really mean is far more important than a consistent location, more important even than a consistent group, is a consistent time, and I'll tell you why. Having a consistent time instantly turns your game into a priority. And it doesn't matter when. Could be Saturdays at 5:30, Tuesday nights at 9, Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., or Thursdays at 7 p.m. Pacific. You take 1 or 2 sessions max to figure that out, but then you must lock it in at all costs. Oh, but I was invited to this work event thing that I kinda have to go to. Can we play a different day this week? No. Sorry. We'll see you next time. I'm going to a wedding this weekend. Can we play on like a weeknight instead? No, dude, sorry, but have fun at the wedding. There's a movie I want to see coming out that day. Can we meet up like earlier in the day instead? No, man. Oh, wait, what movie? So does that make sense? You don't have to be completely draconian about it, but the more rigid and unyielding your game time, the more your players will learn that they gotta schedule their other obligations around it, or they're gonna miss out on the game. You want a little of that FOMO, because otherwise, the opposite is true. This week it's Tuesday, next week it's Thursday, next week it's Saturday. Then you're sending a clear message to your players that the game is the least important thing on their schedule. And just psychologically, they will care less about showing up to the game. And then they will stop showing up to the game, and before you know it, you don't have a game anymore. That is the actual final boss of D&D, the #1 campaign killer, and that is why you must prioritize a consistent game time for the group over any individual player's schedule, even if it feels kind of mean, because they don't want to miss a session. All right, we got a good nature break here, if you can actually see what's behind me. All these little dangling seeds are from the black birch tree, and even now, before the leaves come out, you know, these twigs just smell delicious. It really has that birch beer, like root beer scent. But obviously, you know, don't do too much damage. One little twig, no big deal. If everybody gets a twig, it's a big deal. But for an example, because I know it can be tricky to like cancel things on your friends and be like, no, we're not gonna adjust this for you. Here is how my group, including my wife, 2 of my oldest friends, and like other people who have become closer friends over the years playing RPGs, here's how we handle it. If there are 1 or 2 people missing, totally fine. That's when we will play as usual, unless it is the very first or last session of a campaign, or a session that the GM specifically planned to revolve around that absent player's character. In those cases, we will still meet up, but we'll play something else. Now, 3 people missing, half of our total group, that is when we will definitely play something else, and it might not even be a TTRPG, but we just gotta meet up and preserve that time slot. Then 4 people missing, a rare event, is when we will definitely postpone, or maybe, just for that one time, shift the timing forward or backward, or maybe to Sunday or something for our game. Overall, you gotta establish a firm game time that people can reliably plan around, and that will occur with or without them in one form or another. Now, scheduling secret number 4 is a really easy one. It does not matter what you do with those absent characters. People get way too bothered about continuity here. But if Sam can't play and Blingo stays in town, but we journey through the Ebonwood, how is Blingo gonna be with us next session? And it doesn't matter. As long as Sam can show up next week, Blingo will be with the party. The easiest solution is to just assume the character is still there, but in the background, not really doing anything important. Because the second you try to involve them in combat, then it's like, well, Blingo really shouldn't die if Sam isn't there, so if he's in combat, is he just like invincible? Just don't worry about it. Don't do it. So, not spending any more time on that, scheduling secret number 5, which is really just a best practice for keeping any game going long term. Check in and plan ahead. When you finish a game, before everyone leaves, just see what everybody thought about it and then confirm the date and time for next session, even if it's always that same reliable time. This way, everyone is reminded to speak up if there was something they thought was weird and they would like to change, and everyone can essentially RSVP for the next session, which is not only common courtesy, but like we mentioned earlier, may be important for the GM to know if a particular character won't be active in that next session. Wow, that was close. Finally getting the train in like the last minutes of the video. And yeah, side note, on the off chance someone is really upset about something that happened in the session, it's usually not good to have that discussion right at the end when everyone's tired, hungry, etc. You should handle that between sessions, probably in private, depending on the nature of it, or at the start of the next one. And furthermore, as the GM, you should let the group know when, okay guys, we're probably like 3 sessions away from the end of this adventure. I'm thinking after this, we can try a session of the One Ring. Unless anybody else wants to run something. Because even for those impromptu one-shots, it is courteous to let the players know what they're agreeing to do for 5 hours on their next Saturday night. And for more emphasis, those one-shots, whether impromptu or planned for the post-campaign, those one-shots are your best way to get your D&D exclusive group to finally try that other RPG you've been wanting to play. Literally, just use the same low commitment advice I explained earlier for when asking someone to play D&D for the first time. Now, if only there were, a video highlighting the coolest parts of like 30 different TTRPGs that you might want to try. Oh, look at that, it's right there on the screen. So give this one, give this one a thumbs up. Consider joining my Patreon like these cool people who directly support what I do and get some occasional extra content in the process. Thank you, and keep building.